can't remember the song.
All right.
But I've heard the song.
All right. Where these chairs just stink so hard.
Paul and Steve, they roll the dice. Fantasy dreams ain't always nice. Crunching numbers late at night, seeking that glory shining bright. Touchdowns, fantasies on their mind. Draft day heroes hard to find. In the trenches, week by week, every matchup fierce and sleek. That damn fantasy show, where the gridiron dreams get sown. Passion, fire, blood, and bone, chasing titles, claim the throne.
Welcome into That Damn Fantasy Show. I'm Paul Catalina. This is Cory Dickman sitting in for Steve this week. Steve had COVID last week, and this week he's in Madison, Wisconsin.
Did he? Did Steve sit in this chair?
No, he was not here.
Oh,
so
okay, all right.
We had Emery sit in
you
last
did?
week.
Okay, good.
Emery sat in and made his fantasy show debut.
Did he?
Yes.
How's his fantasy team doing?
He's not bad. He's all
Okay,
right.
all
So
right, okay.
I thought in the absence of Steve
Sure.
that I could bring in you, another fantasy football fanatic.
Oh, yeah. Love it.
So, Cory, Rogue Media,
Yep.
Our partners
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
I don't know how to describe this relationship.
Yeah, you know.
The symbiosis that we have.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the Big Bang Theory. You know,
Yeah.
it's like, it just happened, and
Yeah.
things, they're there.
Yeah.
You know?
So,
yeah.
but Cory's here. And Cory, this was your idea to bring this back too, so
Yes.
it's great to have you on the show.
Good.
Bringing back the fantasy show,
Yes,
and I got to tell you before we get into yours,
Okay.
I want to the news off the top of the show.
Yeah.
Is last week I've had injury like my top 2 draft picks were Christian McCaffrey and Tua.
Oh, jeez.
So
Yeah.
I
Not
haven't
good.
not good.
Not good.
You know, and then
What's your record right now, Paul?
I am well in this. I'm 4-6, which because we're playing in sleeper, so you do like you have wins and you have like wins against the spread and all these other things.
I got
so,
you.
like,
Okay.
Yes. So I have now 4-6, but this weekend I got a win.
Okay.
By a point and a half.
Oh my goodness.
A point and a half.
Jeez.
152.66 to 151.36.
Oh.
So even less than a point and a half.
Wow.
1.3
Okay.
points.
All right. There we go.
And I did this with these numbers in the lineup.
Okay.
Andy Dalton, 3.74.
Oh.
Emmanuel Wilson, 2.5. Devin Achane got hurt in the first quarter,
Yeah,
2.7.
Yeah.
Dalton Kincaid got me 6.4.
Whoa.
Jacoby Brissett, 7.4. All in the lineup.
Okay, wait. Can I guess the others?
Who else I had in my
Jamar
lineup?
Chase.
I did not have Jamar
Oh,
Chase.
okay. I'm trying to think who else.
You're close, though. You're close.
Is it a 1-quarterback league?
It's a 2-quarterback league. No.
So Joe Burrow.
No.
No. Oh.
You're close on Jamar Chase. Guy on the other side of the field from him.
You had Lamar Jackson.
No, I had T. Higgins.
You had T. Higgins.
I had
Oh,
T.
on the
Higgins.
other side. I
I
got
had
you.
T.
Yeah,
Higgins.
same team. Okay.
I had Drake London.
Drake London.
I had Garrett Wilson.
Oh, yeah.
And I had Rashid Shaheed.
Oh, yeah.
And my kicker was Camry Fairbairn,
Yeah.
who had like most of the points
Yes.
for the Texans the other day. So
He's probably your MVP, right, on that lineup there. I mean, of your team.
so far, like now, finally the receivers started to show up, and I'm glad
Yeah.
that T. Higgins is back. This is how bad things were.
Okay.
I got up on Sunday morning, and Daniel Jones was available.
Okay.
And I picked him up, but I couldn't get him in my lineup in time.
Oh, no.
By the time by the time it processed.
Yep.
So Daniel Jones is my starting quarterback right now, and I couldn't be happier.
I was going to say, you probably feel okay right now.
I feel better.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
had 26 points last week. Had I been able to actually put him in the lineup,
You would have been at 180, 190, something like that.
yeah, I would have
quick.
won going away.
Going away, yeah.
Yeah,
But this was more drama. I like
But
that.
yeah, so
Yeah.
that's where I'm stuck right now. But
Okay.
now I have at least Daniel Jones
Sure.
is going to be the starter in New York for the rest of the month.
Sure. Month-ish.
You know, like
yeah,
I'm
depending.
hoping Tua's fine and
Yeah.
he comes back and plays, but that's where I am right now in this league. Now my other 2 leagues I'm doing fine. I went 3-0 this week, so I'm very happy.
Oh, good.
I came in second in our DraftKings. Was the first time I've made any money on DraftKings this year.
Awesome. Okay.
So
That's good.
yeah. So let's get with your fantasy background. Like we
Okay,
want to know
yeah.
how
Yep.
how confident you are as a player.
Sure.
like championships won, things like
Yeah.
that. How long you've been doing it?
Yeah.
I know you. You like to gamble a little bit. Are you a DFS guy too? Like all that stuff.
Sure. Okay. So background. So I'm not like played fantasy in high school. I didn't do it in high school. But when I got to college, freshman year at Baylor, you're in the dorm and you just fantasy. You're gonna do fantasy. And it was like August, so the first game was like starting the next week. So I was like, okay, like I watched football.
Yeah.
But I never had done fantasy. So I jump into this league, and I remember Michael Vick was my quarterback because I remember researching you get rushing yards, they get more points than throwing or than passing yards. So the guy that runs needs to be the person.
Yeah.
And I remember I was like, I got the best person. His year was okay.
Yeah.
I don't recall how I did that first year, but it just hooked me.
Yeah.
And so that same friend group, we've switched out people on and off, but really there's about 6 of us. It's a 12-team league that have done it every year since then. So it's 17, 18 years now.
How many times have you won it?
I have won. There was a stretch where I won 3 in a row.
Oh, nice.
And then I think there were 2 more before that, and then 1 after. So I've won 6 times in the 18 years that we've done this.
I won 2 in a row. Our like 3rd and 4th year in the league.
Yeah.
Of this one that's been going for over 20 years now.
Yeah.
In mine.
Yeah.
Then I took an 18-year break. And then I won again a couple of years
then
ago.
took it down.
Yeah, I took it. Then I did
love it.
But I would always get to like the semifinals or the finals and lose. Like I've lost in the finals in that league.
Yeah.
At least 7 times.
So you have a good enough team to get there.
Yeah.
And then you're weak like 16, 17, or 18.
I was the Bills for a long time. For a long time.
There are people over in Africa that are like, Paul is the
Paul
fantasy
champion. Yeah, exactly.
the damn champion.
They've got our shirt, just. Yeah.
Catalina.
I've got like the hats and everything, and then I'm like, all right, let's take them away.
Yeah, get him out of here.
Get him out of here.
He didn't win. He
Yeah.
didn't win.
Yeah.
That's wild. So this year, so DFS. So I do love to gamble.
Yeah.
I'm more just like spreads, parlays, that kind of stuff. DFS, I've dabbled a little bit.
Yeah.
I think what ends up happening, so I've always been in consistently like either 3 to 5 leagues a year.
Yeah.
And whenever I pick DFS lineups, I just find myself like, and when you have that many leagues and you're in 3 leagues, like you just end up rooting against yourself.
Yeah.
And, I got this player, I got Derrick Henry here, but then I'm going up against him here. I got Jaden Daniels on my team. And then you throw DFS in, and it just became too much.
Yeah.
With
I
then
get
also
that.
like making bets.
I get
too.
that.
So that is the thing that I haven't. I keep up with it. Like will listen to sports talk radio and like the sports betting shows. So I kind of know like those do DFS hour, and I'm intrigued by it.
Yeah.
Hey, this guy's buy low. Like he's low here. Take a flyer on this guy. But I really don't play DFS as much. I probably should.
Yeah. It's we have a group that plays every week.
Yeah.
Grayson Grunhafer, who hosts the Bearcats, has won 3 times, including this week where I was winning the whole time.
Jeez.
And then he got a late touchdown and put me into second. So
Oh,
I was still on the money, but
Yeah. So is that how? So it pays out every week, like first, second, you
Yeah.
get money, and then you reset the next.
Yeah.
I think if I was with a group of people that I knew, just my crew that we did this league for so long, none of them do DFS. But if I was like with people that wanted to do it, I'd be in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Like I would just be like, I'm in, let's go. You know, and
I'd be interested to do a league that mirrors your actual lineup.
Oh.
I think that would be a fun little experiment where like.
Interesting.
Here, we're going to do we'll put all of your things into DFS.
Yeah.
We'll do a really cheap league,
Yeah.
but we'll put
Yeah.
this in every week,
Cool.
and like we'll mirror it and see how
you do.
how you compare week to week.
Sure.
Yeah.
I wonder if you could even build, like, depending on how you drafted and like players that are doing well with waivers,
Yeah.
if you could even put together a DFS lineup with your lineup. Because it might be like, well, I mean, it's too expensive. I can't even make it.
Yeah,
which
well,
is
maybe
maybe
not.
kudos
Yeah, that's
to,
true. Yeah.
Maybe kudos to your actual fantasy team.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's a great point. So what we did with Emory last week was we're here for you.
Perfect.
I'm here for you.
Okay.
I'm going to go through some things.
Good.
I'm trying to get street cred as an expert, so
Yes.
I've got to give people advice to do
get-
that.
yeah.
I can't just walk out on the street and ask somebody like, "Hey,
Sure.
how's your fantasy team going?"
Yeah.
Although that would be hilarious.
Although we could do that. Like
we could
literally
absolutely
walk
do
out.
that.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to find like a venue of where there would be people like that.
That would have like fantasy
like just
teams.
go to a sports bar
Yeah.
and just walk up with we might do that.
Oh,
just
that would
walk
be-
up with the wireless mic and
How's
be
your
like,
team doing right now?
How's your team doing right now?
Yeah.
Do you want some free advice?
Oh, sure.
And see if they do it.
Dude, sponsored by Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yeah,
Or, I don't know,
exactly.
you just walk in.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. Okay, so
You could go. I'll tell you this: you could go to our Buffalo Wild Wings and do it, and they wouldn't. The people at that, they wouldn't even know.
They wouldn't have any idea.
Like I went there the other night with a friend of mine,
Yeah.
and we left because we sat there for 10 minutes before anybody came to like go.
Jeez.
Oh, you guys want to sit down? Like,
What?
what are you doing?
Yeah, come on,
This
man.
is not what.
No.
Listen, I've been to like the original beat-ups, and this
Yeah.
is not what Mr. Wild Wings fought for.
Yo, he's rolling in his grave.
Yeah.
10 minutes went by.
Yes.
Nobody said hi.
Yeah.
Oh,
Nobody said
that
anything.
is awful.
But yeah, so let's go through your team. Let's
Okay, let's do
find
it.
some stuff, and then
All right. Okay, so my strat, at least for the last few years,
Mm-hmm.
I would say is always buy low on the quarterback.
Yeah.
And particularly the rookie quarterback.
Okay.
And so Anthony Richardson last year was the pick.
Yeah.
It was a great 4-game run.
Yeah.
And then it all went downhill, and then I'm just grabbing waiver guys. So Jaden Daniels was the pick this year.
Oh, there you go.
Clearly has paid off
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
So far.
Yeah.
Now, he's not a big guy, and so
Yeah.
I'm a little worried. But that's worked out. Now, the rest of it is where it gets a little sketchy. So we'll start with running backs. This week, so I had Achane.
Yeah.
Achane.
Achan.
Okay, as you alluded to, 2.7 points.
Yeah.
Not great. Got
Yeah.
a concussion. So he's out, obviously, this week, and they're on a bye anyway. So my running back situation is Kenneth Walker for the
Okay.
Seahawks. And then I did snipe Jordan Mason towards the end of
Oh.
the draft because I was like, McCaffrey, it just didn't feel right to me.
Well, I drafted Elijah Mitchell,
Oh, yeah.
and
Then-
like at the draft, and then went home, and immediately after Steve had put the team in the phone, so then my alerts came up, and it was like Elijah Mitchell on IR, and I'm like,
Injured for the
I'm like-
year.
And so like I looked right, like when I was drafting him,
Uh-huh.
when I do this, like
Yeah.
I use my time on stuff like this, especially guys who are a little injury prone,
Yeah.
to make sure that nothing's happened. I watched the 49ers the night before.
Yeah.
They didn't say anything about it. And so I drafted him, and
Yeah.
I was like, well, drop.
Jeez, the Niners. And then
And somebody had picked Jordan
they
Mason.
picked him up already?
Well, I think they got that news before I did,
and
because
they-
I immediately went to go get him, and it's like, what do you mean he's
yeah,
gone?
he's gone. Who's taking Jordan Mason?
Yeah.
Well, and dude, and their whole that Niners, like that first week where what they announced he was out like 4 hours before Monday Night Football
Yeah.
or something. So you were totally. I don't even know if you had anybody to put in for him that first week, Paul, or maybe you.
No,
didn't
I mean,
play
like
him,
it
but-
was. I played both Mostert and Achane.
Yeah.
Like
you
it's just like one of those. So now I've piecemealed together a okay running back rotation, but
Sure.
it'd be really great if he came back.
Yeah,
Like-
yeah. Come on, McCaffrey. So,
Yeah.
so really, I'm here. Okay, so Mason and Walker, they're kind of been my running backs here, and they're playing this week. I feel good
Yeah.
about they're playing each other
Yeah.
on Thursday night, which is always interesting.
I hate Thursday nights, but yes.
Thursday nights are awful. So, so really, it comes down to, and this, you'll have really good insight on this. So I had picked up Rico Dowdle
Okay.
maybe 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Just because I was like, what are the Cowboys doing at running back? So, and then Austin Eckler is my other running
Yeah.
back. And really, that's like the only guys I have. So if I were to play between one of the two, do you think Dowdle is the guy now? Like, did
Dowdle is definitely the guy now.
Yeah.
Here's what I worry about.
Yeah.
So this will happen in the Cowboys locker room. Jerry will get excited about it.
Yeah.
Whenever an undrafted guy hits, they get really excited about him, and then they think their problem is solved.
Okay.
And Rico Dowdle's been with them for 5 years now.
5? He's been there that
He's
long?
been 5 years, and it's finally his time.
Okay.
You know, he's done everything you've asked him to do. He's a great locker room guy, all those things.
Yeah.
I worry we might have another Troy Hambrick situation on our hands here where
Okay.
uh,
Who's Troy Hambrick? I don't,
Okay,
tell me.
exactly.
Okay.
So after Emmitt Smith left and
Okay.
went to Arizona and then eventually retired.
Yeah.
So after Emmitt Smith left, the Cowboys were still a little salary cap thing. So Emmitt Smith's backup that last year was Troy Hambrick. Wore number 42. So they made him the running back, and they're like, we're fine here, which is what they're doing now.
Yeah.
Going like, oh, we're fine here. This is fine. Everything's fine. Look, my glasses just broke.
Oh, no. See, that's how not fine it is.
Yeah, it's not fine.
The
Just talking about this, and these are done. Thanks a lot, peepers.com. So I felt the screw come out in my hand.
Yeah.
And I was like, I hope that's not what I think it is.
We'll find it later.
Yeah. No, they'll just go in
the trash.
Just go in the trash. They're readers. They're not expensive. Good. So I worry that now, because you're like, oh, he had this great game and all that. Well, he did fumble at the goal line.
He did.
With the game on the line.
I know.
So but
sure.
Eckler is in a timeshare. Daddle is the one who's the most effective. Like Zeke's use has gone down and down.
Yeah.
I expect to see Dalvin Cook in the next couple of weeks, maybe after the bye.
Oh, yeah.
Because why else bring in a guy that's that has that kind of street cred and just leave him on the practice squad?
Sure.
I think that look, they try to make it good with Zeke. It's not like he's not what he used to be.
No.
Clearly, and his use keeps going down.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, he's one of Steve's unconditional drops this week. If you have him, just drop him. Just drop him. Not worth having on your team. Okay. And so I would roll with Daddle right now, although they're playing the Lions, who are good.
Sure.
And they're playing at home where they have not won yet this year.
Yeah. Okay.
Which I don't even know what the hell that means, but
I don't know either. Yeah.
What's going on? But I would lean to putting it see how he does for a little while.
Okay.
The Cowboys are going to be very up and down.
Yeah.
If you don't have to play him, don't. Because
so this is where the flex spot would be where he would go. My wide receivers, so A.J. Brown, who would have been my either second.
But he maybe not.
Maybe not. I don't know. And was it a hamstring?
Yeah.
This always scare me. So my wide receiver is A.J. Brown, and then Garrett Wilson, who I decided to sit this week for Achan.
Yeah.
Who that was the sole reason why I lost.
Yeah.
And it's a guy, he owns Club Sandwich here in town, Young Day.
Oh.
And
you're in a league with Young Day?
I'm in a league with Young Day.
Oh yeah.
And
we go way back.
Way back with Young Day, and I had him dead to rights, and then I switched Garrett Wilson out, and then lost. So anyway, regardless of that, so I would probably
we need to get Young Day in here.
We could get Young Day in here. Oh, Young Day, he would talk some fantasy football.
Yeah.
And then Amari Cooper for the Browns, who's
Okay, here's the problem with the Browns.
Yeah.
It's Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
And so here's the issue with Deshaun Watson. You shouldn't play him.
Yeah.
It's hurting all the Browns.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to go week by week. But eventually they're going to get to a point where the coach goes up to the owner and says, I don't care how much you're paying him.
Yeah.
We've got to put Jameis in the game. We are the Browns are a playoff team.
Yeah.
Without Deshaun.
Jameis he'd sling it, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So look, Jameis is an adventure.
Okay.
And I love him like a brother, even though we've never met.
Yeah.
Because he won the national championship at FSU.
He did. You're right.
So, but Jameis will get in and that offense will explode with him in there.
Mm-hmm.
Now, will it be good for them long term? Probably not.
Yeah.
But if you're an Amari Cooper or Jerry Jeudy or David Njoku or whoever, well, this is a dude who's thrown for 5,000 yards once before.
Yeah,
so
he's
going to light it up.
Okay. But probably not this week because.
But no, they've already said they're sticking with Deshaun Watson.
Okay,
so
they've said that.
So you're just gonna have to kind of.
So really then Paul. So I don't know what. So Walker and Mason probably start running back spots. Garrett Wilson, and I guess if A.J. Brown, but let's say A.J. Brown is hurt or something. So it'd be Cooper and Wilson. So then it's Rico Dowdle or
what's your bench situation like?
So Xavier Worthy, who's on bye. I have.
So that's no good to me right now.
That's not good. That's not good to you. Jordan Whittington, I'd picked him up from the Rams.
Yeah.
I have not played him. Now they're on bye too, so I can maybe go grab somebody.
Yeah.
I have Kareem Hunt on the bench. He has a bye, and then Achan, he's on a bye. So that's pretty much my whole bench.
So well, here's the good news.
Yeah.
You have the calamity bye week.
Yeah.
But the good news is that if you can get through this week, then you don't really have to worry about it too much down the line.
That makes sense.
Because the Eagles have already had theirs.
Sure.
So Brown will be healthy and back.
Okay.
You have all these other people that are on bye.
Yeah.
And so,
well, let me say two. Okay, so two people on waivers. So I could pick up, like, your boy Tolbert. What's his first name?
Jalen Tolbert.
Jalen Tolbert.
Also someone Steve recommended taking a look at.
Okay, so Jalen Tolbert. Tyler Lockett for the Seahawks is on waivers. That Tucker for the Raiders. Trey Tucker.
Yeah.
Kind of been sneaky, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. McDonald for the Atlanta. Is it Ray?
Ray McLeod. Yeah.
Ray McLeod.
Yeah.
Michael Wilson for the Arizona Cardinals. Those are the top 5 as far as projections.
Yeah.
I mean, is it worth taking a flyer on any of those?
Maybe Tolbert, but like
Tolbert.
if you would swap out like Whittington for Tolbert this week, I don't think you'd lose Whittington. Like I think maybe Tolbert, especially since you had a good week last week.
Yeah.
He and Dak have a rapport.
Yeah.
They don't have a lot of weapons, like so.
Yeah.
I think it's worth a flyer on Tolbert,
Okay.
especially given the situation with your bench this week,
Sure.
where you don't know. Like it's just Tuesday now.
Yeah.
You have no idea what's going to happen between now and Sunday.
True.
So you might need somebody who's actually going to play this week.
Okay.
So I would take a flyer on at least one of them.
If it came down to Tolbert or Rico Dowdle, which one would I? Or do I play both? Or
I would go ahead and play both. I mean,
both?
like, yeah.
Against Detroit.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, Detroit's good. I mean, Detroit's really good. But I think the thing is Detroit's just going to run through Dallas's defense. I think that's what's going to happen.
Okay.
Because Micah Parsons is not going to play this week. Tank Lawrence is still out.
Okay.
They had a valiant effort against the Steelers, who are not nearly as good.
Sure.
As the
Detroit Lions.
Yeah. Okay. So I think look, if you're an Amon-Ra St. Brown owner this week,
you're
Jamison Williams,
you're super excited.
David Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs, Jared Goff,
go for it.
Go for Sam Laporta if he's going to be back,
back.
Whatever. Yeah. So whatever it is, it's going to be good to be a Lions, like in the Lions business this week.
Do you believe in holding multiple defenses?
No.
No.
I stream defenses. As a matter of fact, in the league that Steve and I do, and the league that I do, the one I told you about, we've gotten rid of it because the rules have changed for the defense so much.
Yeah.
And the styles of offenses have changed so much, although this year's maybe a better year for defenses because offense is down.
For sure.
But we don't use them.
Okay.
We just don't use them at all. And so in the leagues one league I have a defense, I stream. Now, I'm kind of stuck this week. I don't have to stick with Washington.
Sure.
I pick, who's playing the team with the worst offense.
Yep.
I'll go get them.
Yep.
Switch it out. Switch it out.
Keep doing it.
This week there's nobody available that's not playing a good offense. So I'll just stick with Washington this week. They're playing Baltimore. I'll take the lump and hope I can get other things.
Maybe there's like a defensive touchdown or something.
I will. I have in the past, like in this strategy, just left the defense empty because I'm like, I know that nothing good's going to come of what I can do. So I just leave it empty, and that way at least I don't get negative points.
Oh, I like that.
Like I'll take a 0. So it's kind of a wimpy move, but like
no, I think there's high level strategy there.
But
Paul.
like if I'm trying, especially late in the season, this other league that I'm in, late in the season, I was like 1 out of the playoff berth, and I could not get a good defense to save my life. So I just dropped. Like I had nobody, and then one of the teams, like right before the playoffs, had a good defense. And it was like bye week, and they had to drop them.
Oh, and you scooped them up.
So I scooped them up and then won in the playoffs with that defense.
Nice.
I was like, thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, but they were in a position where they didn't want to drop any of their other players because they were like, well, I'm trying to make it. And then they kind of fell out, and they're like, well, I've got to get a tight end in this week. I've got to do this. So like I've got to make the whole thing. So I was just like, well, glad I saved my waiver spot.
Thank you for the dub.
And
then I guess my tight end is Kincaid, who I think you said.
Yeah, Kincaid's fine. Tight end's a really tough thing.
Yeah.
It's a really, really tough thing.
Yeah.
Jake Ferguson's a good one to have. Kelsey's a good one to have.
Yeah.
Kittle, like those guys. I think Kincaid will go up.
Okay.
I think he's going to go but last week he had several catches. He just there weren't a lot of yards.
No.
And they're only it was Josh Allen's career worst game.
Yeah, that was terrible.
It was awful.
Awful.
Yeah, but that's not going to happen every week. So.
Okay. Well,
I was happy when I saw that Josh Allen was like 9 of 31, I was like, well, at least I got something.
Yeah, at least you got some of the passes went to Kincaid.
Yeah.
And because it has been a bad position all year.
Fine. So anyway.
And then kicker, Jason Myers.
Yeah, you're fine.
Seahawks. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's just kind
I
of
stream kickers
plug and
too.
play.
Well, here's what I do with kickers. I either stream kickers or I pick one with a really late bye week.
And you just let it ride.
And just
the
let
whole
it
time.
ride
Yeah.
because it's not that much of a difference unless
Sure.
they're just bad or get cut or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
Or like I have Brandon Aubrey,
Yeah.
who
gosh.
I will drop a player to keep Brandon
Aubrey, yeah.
because he's kicking 60 yarders
Oh
every
yeah,
week.
it's like
So,
wild, man.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I had a stat on the show a couple weeks ago. He had more points than like Stephon Diggs and several other players
Seriously?
through week 4. Yeah, so there's probably other players he still has more stats than.
That is so crazy.
And he had a kick block this week and missed one last week,
Yeah.
but still
it's
and he also had he had a 59-yarder and it doesn't even look like he's trying.
Wow.
It's ridiculous.
Didn't they pull him off of like a 71-yarder?
Yeah,
Or
well,
did they not let? Was that preseason?
Yeah, no, that was in the regular season.
That was the regular season?
Yeah, they were going to go before halftime for the 71-yarder,
Yeah.
and then Mike McCarthy's like, no, don't do it. But
You'll remember this because it was a playoff game, Seahawks,
yeah,
Cowboys,
yeah,
probably 6 years ago, and Janikowski in the playoff game.
who I went to school with.
You went to Sebastian Janikowski?
Yeah, he was at Florida State. I
Oh
went to
my
school with
gosh.
Sebastian Janikowski.
He goes out there, I don't remember what, it was probably like a 60-something yarder, and he pulled his hamstring
Yeah.
before halftime,
Yeah.
and we couldn't kick in the second half in that playoff game. I remember that one.
I wanted to go in I was at the game.
Yeah.
I wanted to go. I wanted to go in the locker room and just be like, listen, buddy, I still love you unconditionally.
Yeah.
Thank you for helping us win the
Thanks
national
for-
championship in '99. It's a great story about Sebastian Janikowski. I'll tell you 3 Sebastian Janikowski stories in succession. Really. fast.
Okay, really quick.
So first one, my freshman year, we beat Florida.
Okay.
And my friends say, hey, all the team goes to this bar called the Late Night Library. That's in Tallahassee.
Oh, nice.
So, let's go because we were fired up.
Yeah.
And there was a dude, he was a male cheerleader for Florida.
Okay.
And he was housed.
Oh, no.
Like housed. Oh. It was not even midnight yet. It was like 11:30. So he was already just gone. And so he was still he was wearing his t-shirts Florida cheerleading and all that. And look, the male cheerleaders are big dudes. He's pretty confident in his strength. Mm-hmm. And so he goes and starts just Sebastian's just sitting at the bar drinking, and he just starts in on Sebastian, just calling him a bunch of names. Now Sebastian is a crazy Polish dude. So Sebastian just turns around and wails on this dude. And they had to get him out because obviously he was going to get in trouble, but everybody's like, well, this guy started it.
Yeah.
And then he said this stuff, and I was like, damn, because he's huge. He's a huge man. So then the next season is 99.
All right.
I'm at Ruby Tuesdays.
Okay.
You remember Ruby
Oh, I
Tuesdays?
love a good Ruby Tuesdays.
So it was Ruby Tuesdays.
Yeah.
And he and his girlfriend were sitting at the table next to me. And in an hour, he drank 7 full pitchers of beer.
What?
And didn't even look like it phased him.
Are you serious?
Yes. They just kept bringing him. And we're because he sat down when we sat down. And we're like, oh, hey, man. My friend's like, hey, it's Jano. And we're like, okay, cool. And so, waved at him. And he's like, all right. He didn't know him. But, so sat there, 7 full pitchers of beer. And she just kept coming. And I was like, but, after 2 of those, just, it was just him. She wasn't having any. He was drinking all of it.
Oh, my word.
And just here over and over and over again.
Dude.
And I was like, holy cow.
If that had been today, Janikowski would have had the best NIL deal with Ruby Tuesdays.
Yeah.
And known to man. I guess
Yeah.
they probably couldn't have featured the beer. But
But then, national championship game comes around that year where FSU beat Michael Vick and Virginia Tech in the Sugar Bowl.
Yeah.
The night before,
Okay.
so when you go to cover the Sugar Bowl, and I found this out by now covering 3 of them.
Okay.
So you go to cover the Sugar Bowl, they have this really great media party, and plus you're in New Orleans, so everybody's out on Bourbon Street. Okay. And it's not really kind of a hectic time around then, when it was after New Year's. Okay. So I've been there when it's before New Year's and during and after.
Yeah.
So after New Year's, it's not as busy because they've just had their whole bacchanal there, right? So I guess the game was on January 3rd. Okay. So January 2nd, media party, and then the game's on the 3rd. Okay. Well, everybody's got a curfew, right? Okay. Well, the whole media is out on Bourbon Street drinking like everybody does.
Yeah.
And Sebastian Janikowski's just bar humping and going all over the place. Jeez. So they're just assuming he's going to get suspended. Well, this was going to be his last game at Florida State anyway. And Bobby Bowden, so he goes out and kicking. Everybody's like, oh, my gosh, like, how did you, like, not? The post-game press conference, he's like, you know, like, was he out? No, that's news to me.
You're like, I don't care.
Yeah. No, like, no. And, like, you know, it was, but, yeah, he was definitely out there all night long. And, again, he was probably fine.
Yeah, he probably was.
So when everybody's telling that story, like, I can't believe he wasn't home. I'm like, I saw him drink 7 pitchers of beer.
And he was okay.
And get up and go to the bathroom once.
The man is built differently.
He's different. Like, again, I'm sure there was, like, he was born in Poland. I'm sure there was booze in his baby bottle.
There had to have been. He legit, Paul, if one of my best friends, Jared, was here, who's been in the league with us the whole time, he would vouch for this. Every year, the last pick of the draft, I always pick Janikowski. Yeah. He's my kicker probably for 8 straight fantasy seasons. Yeah. To the point where people would grab him, just snipe him from me. Yeah. And then they would drop him later, but they'd always offer me trades. Yeah. Like, hey, we got Janikowski. You want to give us a wide receiver? I mean, like he
was the beginning of this revolution of like 50-yard field goals and more. Oh my god. Because it used to be like, oh, I don't know, this one's 50 yards. Yeah. Do you think this tiny man can go out there and do this? Yeah. And then Sebastian Janikowski, like, also, I want to tell you, he made like 14 trips to the salad bar. Too. Like, when like the beer would empty, he would just go to the salad bar and reload up. And including to his meal. Yeah. Like, it was,
oh my gosh.
Like, we don't remember anything else about that night. Like, anything else, like, the most beautiful woman in the world could have come and sat down next to me and said, I have been waiting for you my whole life. Like, hey, shh.
Watch him.
Watch him. Sit down. You want to see this? What's this picture number 4? Yeah. He's not even slurring his words.
The Polish. It's the Polish in him.
Yeah, I love Sebastian Janikowski. Now I'm going to try to do this without my reading glasses and give people some tips from the commish, Steve May.
Let's do it.
All right, waiver pickups this week. Tank Bigsby.
Okay.
Tyrone Tracy. Okay. Who I think is going to be the starting running back in New York and should have been.
I think is he on my team?
Look, Devin Singletary, not somebody you should ever put on your team.
No.
Ever.
No.
And that includes teams that sign him and give him money. Like, you shouldn't do that.
You shouldn't do that.
Okay. Juju Smith-Schuster.
Yep.
If you haven't already grabbed Kareem Hunt, I would go ahead and grab Kareem Hunt.
Yep.
Patrick Mahomes is so good that, like, guys who are cast-offs in other places come in and contribute.
Yep.
It's just how good he is.
Yeah.
At quarterback, if you are super desperate, Bo Nix.
Oh.
Looks like that's kind of like you watched that. They had a big game. He had a big game against, but don't bet the house on him.
Yeah. Wait, can I tell a quick story?
Yeah.
My wife and I were coming back from, we were in the Denver airport going Denver to Steamboat. I'm sorry, Dallas to Denver last week. And we're in line, and this girl was behind us. And then she jumped the line to go through the clear. You know, the clear at the airport?
I have clear.
You have clear. So she goes to clear thinking that was faster. And our line moved. We're in the priority line, and then the clear line, and then she ends up right behind us again. Yeah. And she makes this comment. She's like, $200, that was a waste, and whatever, right? So I don't think about it. So then we do at the security guide, like give them the ID to your picture, and then you go through, put your stuff through the conveyor belt. So we're unloading our stuff, and the girl behind us, the guy was like, oh, hey, I used to work for Bo. And the girl was like, oh, what's your name? And he says, whatever. So we're in line. I barely heard this. And my wife, so we go through the security, and we're all waiting for our stuff. And Lauren leaned into me, and she's like, is Bo a quarterback? And I was like, Bo Nix? And she's like, and being from Oregon, I'm a Bo Nix guy. And I'm like, well, yeah, Bo Nix, he's a quarterback. Yeah. And she's like, well, does he play for Denver, the Broncos? No, and my wife knows nothing.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, how did you know that? And she's like, well, I think that's his wife. And I was like, what? Like, and the girl behind. So I'm quickly like Googling Bo Nix's wife. Totally was her. It totally was her. And I should have just said something, but I just, how my wife put that together on just such little information. So now she's like a Bo Nix person. My wife is. She's like, how'd Bo Nix do this week? I was like, well, actually, he did pretty well.
Did well.
So sorry.
Yeah.
That's my quick story.
So Drake May starting this week.
Okay.
For the Patriots.
They're putting him in.
Oh. So that's going to happen. Devontae Adams not going to play this week again, more than likely.
Okay.
And he's going to get traded.
To the Cowboys?
No.
Oh,
Not
okay.
gonna
No.
happen.
Oh, okay.
Not gonna happen. I would put my money right now on the Bills.
Oh,
I would put my
okay.
money on the Bills. The Saints and Jets are his top 2 picks personally because of Aaron Rodgers and Derek Carr, because those are his friends.
Oh, yeah.
But now the Jets have just fired Robert Saleh, so that's going to be a little chaos.
Sure.
The Jets offense isn't really like Aaron Rodgers isn't that good anymore.
Yeah,
Like if you're Devonta Adams, you're 32, you want to win a Super Bowl. Like the Jets and the Saints probably aren't going to do that.
I'd go to the Bills.
I would go to the Bills. Like if you want to get that thing in before you get I would go to the Bills.
Yeah.
The Bills have some salary cap restraints that the other ones don't.
Okay.
But I would put my money on the Bills right now or the Steelers.
Oh, yeah.
The Steelers have been trying to trade for a wide receiver.
Sure.
It would change their whole thing.
Yep.
It would make Pickens more valuable. It would
Yeah.
I mean it would change their whole vibe.
Who were they trying to get this offseason? Weren't the Steelers?
Brandon Ayuk.
Oh, it was
The
Ayuk.
deal was on the
Yeah.
table. The
Yeah.
deal, they had accepted the deal from the Steelers. The only thing they had to get was the go ahead from Ayuk, and then he went and he's like, I don't want to go. I was he was like, I was kind of bluffing. I was kind of bluffing. I didn't really want to leave. I thought maybe I could get it. He took the deal they offered him in the first place, and he's like, okay, we're in a trade. She's like, well,
No, man.
I don't have to move.
Yeah, I'm not doing all that stuff.
Moving's a whole thing.
In Northern California to Pittsburgh, I don't know about that.
I mean, it's going to be cheaper for sure.
That's true. Would be
It's
cheaper.
going to be cheaper, but so drop unconditionally Zeke, Gabe
Okay.
Davis, and Hunter Henry.
Okay.
Most attractive games this week when you're playing players.
Okay.
Cowboys versus Lions. There should be a lot
Yeah.
of points scored in that one. So
Okay.
Dak, CD, Jalen Tolbert, Rico, Jake Ferguson, good to go this week.
Roll them out there.
Roll them out there.
Okay.
Same thing with the Lions, Jared Goff, and all of that. Roll them all out there.
Okay.
Chargers and Broncos should be a really low over-under.
Okay.
Ravens and Commanders should be a lot of points.
Okay.
A lot of points in that one, which is what I said. And if Tank Dell is available, go and pick him up because Nico Collins has an injury, and that would be good. So that's from the commish this week.
All right,
That is
Steve.
his advice.
Okay.
And all right. My wife tells me, please stop talking. It's after 7.
We heard from the real commish.
We heard from the real commish.
The real commish.
I found this out, Cory. You know this. And Garrett knows he's married.
Yeah.
When you are single, you're the CEO of your own company.
Oh, yes.
Then when you get married,
Yep.
there's a hostile takeover where
Yep.
all you get are non-voting board seats.
That is all you get.
I have a seat on the board, but I don't have a vote.
And you have to attend the board meetings.
Yeah.
You can't skip them.
I can
You can't
go,
vote. Yeah.
and they'll ask me for input.
Yeah.
But ultimately, it's a crapshoot whether that input is taken.
Sure, that's true.
The decision is not up to me.
Yeah, well, you know what?
that's made well known to me.
It is well known, but it's
Yeah.
okay. She treats you well, I'm sure.
She
So
does.
it's
She's
fine.
wonderful.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's going to do it for That Damn Fantasy Show. I'm Paul. That's Cory. Steve should hopefully be back next week.
Come on, Steve.
If the pharmaceutical company doesn't send him somewhere else. But that's it. Send us your, at Paul Catalina on Twitter, send me your questions. I'll answer them. And at Sentex Commish. He'll answer them as well. That's going to do it for us. Thanks, everybody.